Greetings, Cubs. Welcome and welcome back again. It is time to step into the lion's den. Now, today is special. A lot of people have been asking me to do a deck tour, and so I decided to start part one of my my tarot deck tour. Today, I'm going to start with my oracles. So this is going to be part one of my oracle decks. I've stacked up the majority of the oracle decks that I usually have around me or closest to me here. I have a bunch of decks, so I don't know how many parts this will be. I think I can keep oracle decks in maybe 2 parts, at worst 3. But yeah, I'm going to try to go through them very quickly and name them. And as when I post it, I will try to put links to the oracle decks that I have down below. If not, I will also name them in this reading. So you can find all of these that I'm naming on Amazon. The ones that I know you probably won't be able to find on Amazon, I will let you know where I got them from, okay? All right, so let's get started. Thank you all, Cups, for watching. I appreciate it. Please thumbs up the video. It really does help me out a lot. It took a lot of energy for me to grab all these decks and to do this. So yeah, we're going to start off with the deck that a lot of people always ask me about. A lot of people seem to be, wow, really? I am so sorry. I don't know if y'all heard that car. But I'm going to start off with a deck that a lot of people have been asking me about. They always ask me about this deck, and I always let them know that I don't know the name of it because I sometimes get rid of the boxes because they're too bulky, so I'll put them in bags instead. So this is my Queen of the Moon Oracle deck. This is what it looks like. These are the cards that are in it. Okay. These are what they look like. This is my Queen of the Moon Oracle deck. I hope I'm zoomed in enough for you guys to see them. I'm just gonna lay a few of them down here. You know, we have cards like Extreme, Attachment, was this Attention? I'm sorry, Attraction, Hunger, Focus. These are oracle cards that have, you know, one word on them, a keyword, and basically you just use your intuition to guide you through the rest. It's not overly diverse, unfortunately. I mean, the one card that I showed you, there's maybe 2 cards with an Asian person on it, and then this is the black, yeah, this is the black woman. So, and this is probably, I think, the only masculine card in the deck as well. So this is what the Queen Oracle deck looks like. Queen of the Moon Oracle deck looks like. It's not one of my favorites. It's just one that kind of I keep on hand. I keep it to the side. I use it for extra keywords, or I wouldn't necessarily say clarity, but just extra keywords on certain topics. Now, I'm going to get into my chunky boys. So my chunky oracles, let me get into those. These are the ones that are kind of like, well, they're chunky. They're chunky boys. So let's get into my chunky boys. Some of the first or intense oracles, they're kind of actually also tarot decks, to be honest. They say tarot on it, psychic tarot, the psychic tarot for the heart, or the psychic tarot oracle deck. They're both oracles, but they also can be used as tarots. These are by John Holland. They're pretty much, they're the same, to be honest. If you mix up the cards, like if their backs weren't different, you'd probably be able to mix up the cards easily and not tell that they were from different decks. Okay, so the let's do the Psychic Heart Tarot first. These are some of the cards for the Psychic Heart Tarot. I want you guys to be able to see them. You can find these on Amazon. That is where I got them from. Or I may have gotten them from Hay House. So if I'm mistaken, I don't know if Hay House is still selling tarot cards. But I got this, I may have gotten the John Holland decks from Hay House. So you can see what these look like. Some of the words are shine, healing begins, teach, observe, listen, just breathe, new vitality, clarity and belief, feeling alone, success and growth. They're very good and diverse cards in a sense of they have a wide range of emotions that they express. So these are really good oracle decks for if you want a lot in one place and you don't want to have to buy several hundred decks to get a whole bunch of to get a wide variety of darker and lighter or in betweens. I won't say that this deck gets too particularly dark. Like this says darkness and fear. But this deck doesn't, I don't believe it gets too particularly dark. I would say it is more of a bright to mid-range. But it's very much a good starter if you don't want to be overwhelmed by darker cards, but you still want something that can kind of give you a well-rounded reading. So that is the Psychic Heart Tarot. Where's the back to it? That's the Psychic Heart Tarot. You can find this, like I said, on either Hay House or Amazon, I believe. Let me make sure right quick. I have my Amazon open. Okay, yeah, let me see. Yeah, you can find it on Amazon for like $22. This one also, the Psychic Tarot Oracle, is also $22. And this is on Amazon as well. You can find these two right next to each other if you go to Amazon and search for it. I know this doesn't help some of y'all that I'm uploading this after Cyber Monday, but it is what it is. I promised I was going to get to it, so... the regular Psychic Tarot is pretty much the same. It will have the chakras that are going to be in it. So the sacral chakra, the crown chakra. You're going to have your chakras in both decks. Wow, this person with their car. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. So you're going to find both of these have about a mid-range of bright cards to a little bit of, you know, a little darker, but they don't get too dark. So like, you know, what is this? Disruption will be on your darker range of cards. Yeah, I would say it's pretty bright, both of them. Not sacrifice, so it's not overly bright, but you know, I'll stick to what I said. You'll get like bright to mid-range dark. So you're like light negativity, like something bad may happen or something could go wrong. You'll get the messages that will tell you that may not be a great idea. So you can get that out of these decks. So if you want something that can give you a good reading, and it's not going to be overly fluffy, these Psychic Tarot decks are really good for that. They're very good for that. Well-rounded, and you have a lot of cards in there. Again, because it also has tarot. It's 65 oracles in these decks. A lot of others you'll see that I have will maybe have maybe 54, maybe 56, but you know, it's 65 in this. But we're going to move on to one of the faves. This one is a fave on my channel. This is the Caroline Myss Archetype card. I used to announce this one in all of my readings, because I used to do the personality first before I got into the reading of the individual idols. Of course, you can also find this one on Amazon. Let me see. I think it's still available. I think. I really should get another deck. But this is what it looks like, the Caroline Myss Archetype. I'm so sorry my camera has been going in and out of focus recently. I don't know what that's about, but these are what the cards look like. And I use this to do my personality readings. You can purchase personality readings on my Patreon. Go to my Patreon and click on personality reading, and then DM me your name or the idol or celebrity you want a personality reading on, and I will give you one. So here are some of the cards. It says God, Warrior, Child, Magical, Thief, Child, Eternal, Seeker. It has a wide range of personality traits that can be read in both positive and negative, in their negative attributes. We have more intense cards like you see here, which says, well, I don't know if I want to read it out loud because YouTube may nuke me. I don't know, but y'all see it. You know, to teacher, pioneer, you know, gossiper. It has a wide range of personality traits you can choose from. An amazing deck. I absolutely love it. It's the only one that I need for personality readings. If I do find some more archetype cards, though, I will invest in them and try to see how well they work for me. But I've stuck with my Caroline Myss deck for years, so this is my third chunky boy. This is actually a tarot deck, much like these two. It's supposed to be a tarot, but it's also an oracle. I use it as an oracle. I don't use it as a tarot deck. This is not on Amazon, not to my knowledge. You have to purchase this from Tarocco Studio. This is not on the affordable end of things. I believe this was like $75. Tarocco Studio does not really play with their decks. I don't know if I can find this on Amazon. Yeah, I don't think let me see. Yeah, I don't think you can find this one on Amazon. You have to go to their website and get this deck. This one, some of you may have also seen this deck in a lot of my readings. So, again, this is a great deck to find out what's going on. I probably also should have used it in my 2022 reading for idols or K-pop world. So we have words like compassion, right? Then we also have waiting. We have sorrow, deceit, deception, profit and loss, and optimism. So these are very well used as an oracle, and this is why I use them as an oracle instead of a tarot deck. These are excellent on clarification, as a clarification deck. So if you're trying to figure out something and the emotions behind it, it helps me a lot. Achievement, principles, healing, contentment, stress. And you can see that there's a lot of great imagery in this deck that you can use for a lot of things. Like you can see this card that says stress, but also see like there's something going on with either some online bullying. You can, you know, with the @ sign, you can get that from that. You can get the need for therapy, obviously displayed in this. You know, you can see that someone may have some form of anxiety. A lot of things can be, you know, taken out of the images in these decks alone. So like even like how this is destiny, but you also see it displayed as a woman in a wheelchair. You can pick up a whole lot of things from just the imagery of the in these decks. And so it's very interesting. I really do love this deck. I use it quite often. It's very good for multi-purposes. It's great. It goes along with a lot of other decks. It goes well paired with another tarot deck. So that is my Visions of Life tarot, or if you choose Oracle deck. I think I have maybe one more chunky boy that's around me right now. Yeah, I got one more chunky boy for part 1. If I could get this back in his deck. Okay. Okay, so my last chunky boy, I don't know if I did this one already. I really have no idea. Y'all, I have a very short-term memory, and I'm not joking when I say it, so I'm so sorry if I do repeatedly show you a deck. I really do have a short-term memory. I can forget things as soon as I do it. But this is my energy oracle cards. You guys see this deck a lot in my readings, especially if I'm doing whole group readings. You will see this deck. This deck is also, I'm sorry, just like this one, this has a wide range of emotions, and so it can be bright all the way to mid-dark, I would say mid-dark. And this deck as well is the same. So financial constraints, as you can see, like there's nothing in the bank. We have cards like strategy, rest and rejuvenation, door to romance. We also have the chakras that are available. We have the cards for heartbroken, attraction, thinking man, angel of love. So it has a range of angelic figures to chakras, to spiritual connections, the use of yin and yang, also, you know, talks of magic or you know, dark or light magic. It kind of lightly touches on everything. And like I said, once again, this can go from bright to mid-range dark, which is things like storm warning, which is also things like the card deceit. You know, and it's depicted quite wickedly, I guess. You know, it could scare some people. I don't know. You know, what's dark, or not so dark to me may be super dark for others. So hostilities. So I would say mid-range dark. It's not overly bright, especially because these cards can also be read in reverse, so you can take it how, you know, you feel. I've read some of the cards out to you. You see, so let me make it clearer so you can see some of the imagery, more of the imagery. You know, put some space there. So yeah, they're reflective. Had this deck for a very long time. Great oracle deck to use. This one has what, 53 cards in it. This deck, I often could use this deck to do readings by itself. I don't really need other decks for while I use this one, but you can also use it with other decks. Of course, you can do whatever you want. But this is also one of my faves, my staples, and my go-tos of my chunky boys. Let me do this so they don't fall over. Okay, so I've been through my chunky boys. I still have, I say these count as my chunky boys, but I don't remember the names of these. I may save them. Should I save them for part 2? I know this deck is like Osho, hold on. This is another one of my faves. I often forget about it when it's out of my sight. Y'all know how that ad is out of sight, out of mind. I literally, I will forget it if I can't see it. So let me try to find the name of this. I think it's like, oh shit. I may have to pull this up, and then I'm gonna probably save it for my part 2 of my oracle readings after I've pulled up the name of the deck. But you guys see that deck is gonna be something that I have used a lot. All right, so now that we're done with the chunky boys, I'm gonna put that bag in a part 2. I'm gonna go ahead onto this, my minis, because I only have 2. I'll start off with my Love Oracle cards. Love this deck. I use this for more than just readings. I use this for relationships in general. Oh no, the card is bending. I gotta get another one of these. I may get 2 more. So it is called Island Time Wellness Love Oracle cards. Tarot decks for clarification and completement readings. So this is what the packaging looks like. This is how small it is. It fits in the palm of my hand. And this is in the color of black. It comes in 2 colors. It comes in black, and then there it comes in pink. I think I'm going to get the pink one next. The cards look like this. It almost looks like something being drawn on a chalkboard. These are amazing decks. This does range from dark to light. Light to dark, dark to light, however you choose. We have cards like I Like You, that says someone likes you, romance is blooming, fun flirting, want to date. It has several key words and phrases on it. Love call, you know, again, someone expresses love, a message of love, or thinking of you and letting you know. So it's very clear in what it is saying, and the art is very beautiful to me. Karmic relationship. Remember, this is a love oracle, and those are all like some of the love kind of like really lovey-dovey cards. But we also have some darker ones like stabbed in the back, which also says heartbreak, pain, separation, deception, shocking attack. So we do delve into the darker ends of things. Let's see if I can find some more darker cards in here. We do have cards like the Chaser. This, in a love relationship, this can be seen as a more darker card because it is going to call you out for being aggravating or annoying to your lover. So we have Chaser in a codependent relationship, fear or abandonment issues. This deck will call you out and read you for filth. The Runner in a codependent relationship, fear of intimacy and listening to ego. So the Chaser and the Runner. We have that description here. Let me see. We have the Grim Reaper. Again, really dark cards. Some people may not like to see anything that represents death in their decks. The Grim Reaper, the relationship is over, no second chances. Grow and transform your life. Okay, so this one represents an ending to a relationship, not necessarily death. But, you know, some people can take it as that, and that could be really horrifying to see. So it does have, I will say this has a full range of bright and dark cards in there. There was one that I just saw that stood out. Also seduction, like it will tell you, point out if you feel like someone is cheating or you have a lover that is cheating. It will tell you, it will sort in roles. It has no problem going there. So this is an excellent deck. Like I said, I use it for more than just romance readings. I use it just for clarification for relationship or friendship dynamics in general, because, you know, I can apply some of these things platonically, so it's fine for me. Absolutely love this deck. It was probably one of my best purchases. Excellent deck. The next deck, this is not on Amazon. This is on Etsy. I don't remember the name of the creator. I apologize. This is the Adorable Soul deck. This is what the packaging looks like. It says, an all ages collections of cute and creepers at their at their cuddliest. 1 second. Yes, I left to get water. So, I would not say, it says it's fun for all ages. I mean, I'm not really sure about that. Some of these creatures on here, if you don't know about certain histories or cultures, you won't get it. Like Anansi the spider story, if you don't even know who Anansi is, then you wouldn't get why he's story. There's a lot of other ones that you just don't know the history behind. I know Anansi, but like Olgoi, I don't even know how to pronounce these names because I'm not sure what some of the cultures they come from. This, to me, to be honest, I would say it goes from, it's not bright. It's not a bright deck. I personally like my decks about mid-range to dark. I'm not too big a fan of bright decks unless they just do it in a way that I really appreciate. My favorite types of decks usually come looking like this. I would not say it is particularly for all ages. I would not particularly say that it is a deck for people who want something light, because it's not there. I mean, if you look at some of the words for these creatures, I mean, they're still supposed to be scary. And look at this creature suffering here, and then it's control, and then virulence. We have cards like struggle and chaos and malice. And inevitability and consume, and it's misfortune, envy, constrained. You know, I would not say this is a deck for people who want brighter kinds of readings. This deck is absolutely, for me, I use it for when I definitely can say, okay, someone may be potentially a bad person. No, I'm not going to say that, because then if y'all see me using this deck in a reading, y'all think I don't want y'all to think I think an idol is a bad person, because I don't. Sometimes this has keywords that will help me when I'm like, something foul may be going on here, or there's something going on here, so let me pull this deck and see what it is. And like it has words like cruelty, but it also has decks, cruelty, power, but it also has words like commitment. But I mean, for the most part, it's pretty dark. Trickery, distraction, omen, solitude, longevity, diversity, invulnerability, lies, ruin, glamour, theft, duality. Like, you know, a lot of the cards on here are pretty dark, you know. So this deck, it's more so an add-on for me. I feel like it's more so a deck that I would use for clarification, like if there's something foul going on potentially in a relationship or dynamic, you may want to pull it to see, okay, well, what's going on, to see if that's really the case. You know, sometimes you may get something bright like companionship, you know, maybe, or glamour, like, you know, that will help you to know that it's not as dark as you know, as maybe something seems, or maybe, you know, it could explain to you that maybe you're misreading an emotion that may seem, hostile to you. Maybe it's not intended to be that way from someone else, so you may get a clarification, possibly. But for the most part, this deck has more negative connotations behind each of them, almost each of them. So if you're not into that, I wouldn't suggest it. But I absolutely love this deck. I don't use it often, but I really do love and appreciate this deck and everything that it offers and brings to the table. I like to have a balance of brighter and darker, or not necessarily a balance. My balance is definitely mid-range to dark. That's where I'm more comfortable in, mid-range to dark. Okay, so those are my tiny boys. So now that my tiny boys are out of the way, I guess this one falls in a little bit of a mid-range of the tiny boys. This one is my Madame and Dora's fortune cards. This is an amazing deck. Another purchase that I'm like, I'm very glad that I went out of my way and just decided to get this. This is not something that I would usually pick up or grab. I'm so sorry for the camera not wanting to focus. Hold on. I'm so sorry for the camera not wanting to focus. I don't know how to fix that. But this is what the backs look like. And it is also, I would say, a maybe bright to mid-range. We have things like winds of change, bright to dark, winds of change. Your surroundings will undergo a transition. We have the Queen, love and prosperity. So it has elements like winds and waters and words like serendipity. But we also have darker cards like Medusa. Jealousy leads to someone's downfall. The Spider, be meticulous and patient. It's not necessarily dark, but also depending on how you read it, it can be. What other cards do we have? Let me see if there's any other darker ones. The caduceus is not particularly bad at all, but some people may see this sign and think hospital, because there's a lot of things that can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. The golem, it says a close friend acts on your behalf. It is a positive card, but again, imagery may be kind of intimidating for some. The black cat, your luck will change soon. So this may be like maybe bright to mid-range for most, and maybe, you know, bright to dark for some. The serpent, a sly and subtle approach is needed. The raven, a darkness looms on the horizon. I would say bright to mid-range. The dagger, the dagger, conflict and danger lie in wait. Okay, dark. Bright to dark. We're gonna stick with that. Again, because certain things can be seen as more intimidating to some than others, especially if some people who want to use this deck do feel like their life can generally be in danger, and they get something about a dagger and, you know, danger awaits in the future or something like that. That can be very terrifying for some. So it is a deck that you should be cautious of if you're not too great with imagery that can be threatening, I guess. Ooh, my mouth is getting dry, all this talking. All right. So, boom. That is my Madame and Dora's fortune cards. You can also find these on Amazon. I hope I didn't skip any telling you guys where you can get these decks on. I will also, by the end, re-pull out all the decks that are not on Amazon so you guys know. Yeah, so that's one of my tiny boys. And now we're back into the regular size, and then we'll go to my tall boys. Okay. This the box that this deck came in was quite cheap, so the box tore very easily. Just like this one, you can see like the wear on this box is pretty trash. So I know this box is probably going to last me maybe one more year or a few more months before I need to find a bag for this, and kind of just leave it at that. This deck, the box was absolutely terrible, so it got destroyed. This is a very good deck for children. It's meant also for people to use it to do psychic readings or readings on their pets or animals. This deck is a very bright deck. It can go bright to maybe light mid-range, dark, light dark. So we have cards like Super and Help. All right, so if you're trying to understand your dog or your animal, and you're like, what's going on, and you pull a card for help, you know that maybe there's something wrong. Nature, your pet may want to go outside, relax. Your pet may want to be left alone so they can sleep. Training, your pet may need some training, some things that you need to work on, and you probably may not be paying attention to it. And so, you know, was this healing? Your pet may need to have a vet's visit. You know, we have this deck that can be read in upright or reverse. Either way, it says new experiences. So it's time to switch it up for your pet. Do something fun for them. Freedom. Now, this deck can also be used as just a general oracle deck. Scrying. So there's another form of deviation. So you can use this deck for your pets. Again, another health thing, you know. Like healing could be the pet is getting better, and then health could be it's time to go get a checkup, you know. And again, you can read this for yourself too. This could also tell you need to go to the doctors and check out what's going on, or if you're wondering if you're getting better and the healing card comes up, it's like, yeah, you are healing. If you need to go outside more, you know, I've done a few readings using this. I don't use them for pets. I only have my cat. I don't really use it for her, but I just use this in my everyday readings, used to. I do need to bring it back, but this is what the Moo Oracle deck looks like. Let me go ahead and check right quick to see if this is on Amazon. I believe I did get this from Amazon. Let me see. I don't see the Moo Oracle deck on here anymore. Yeah, I'm not seeing the Moo Oracle deck anymore. So I guess it is no longer on Amazon. But I do see plenty of other decks there that are available. I guess maybe the closest one, probably the Divine. Is that a tarot though? Probably the Divine Dog Wisdom deck. I don't see the Moo Tarot deck. The Moo Tarot deck is a Korean deck, I believe. But I think I got it from Amazon. I'm pretty sure I got this one from Amazon. This is one you could find a lot of in some of my older readings from last year. The one that stands out to me is a Lizzo reading. You'll probably see that there. Let's see. Next, I'm gonna move into my Doreen Virtue decks, aka my Hay House decks. Oh, I'm knocking things on the floor. Oh Lord, I thought this was gonna be able to get done in like one video, but I should have known. So boom. Doreen Virtue, my Archangel Gabriel cards. Love these. These are for help. What I use for when people ask me for career readings and such. I do use these to aid in those readings. This helps in health and career. So we have retreat, gratitude, share your art with the world. These are what the cards look like. They are golden rimmed. Doreen Virtue decks are no longer being sold. They have only knockoffs, even on Amazon. So that is probably what you're going to get. Law of Attraction, letting go, daily practice, blocks lifted, pay attention to your dreams, recognition, new projects, prosperity. It just has a lot of that. Helping children, maiden, editor. It has lists of some jobs that are like writing group, journaling. I know it has media, but it has a lot of cards in here that are very helpful for if you need guidance on career path, education, and just in general moving forward in your career or life. And so I'm breezing through this one because I have quite a few to go through, and I thought I was going to be done quicker, but I'm not. I didn't even get to a lot of these, so I'm probably going to stop this one after I'm done with the Doreen Virtue and then make a part 2. So this one is one of the decks you guys also will see me pull out every now and then. Is my Angel Answers deck. The font is wearing. Again, this one, I've had this one for maybe 4 years, 5, I don't know. But this used to have gold trimming. As you can see, the gold trimming is worn. And these have cards like, by the way, this is pretty light. This is light. You may be able to still find this one on Amazon. I'm not sure. No, Doreen Virtue only has knockoffs now because they stopped selling them. So it has stuff like romance, not the right time, abundance, big happy changes, take action, listen to your intuitions. And then for the most part, this deck gives you time frames. So a year from now, it also gives you yeses, nos, within weeks, opportunities. It tells you when you need to let go of something you've been holding on to too much. So example, if you're like me, which I had to go through with this deck a lot, because it was one of the first decks I got, and so I use this a lot to ask very repetitive questions. So the let go will come and tell you when it's time for you to drop it. Choose a new direction, you're ready, communicate clearly. So it has a lot of cards to kind of help you with decision making, figuring out if you need to move on or stay in a specific place. It's a very light deck. There's nothing, the worst in this deck that you're gonna find is a no with an exclamation mark, okay? That's pretty much what you're going to find. This deck is very, very good on answering questions. But I will say in my own experience, it becomes less effective the more you try to use it to especially answer the same questions. Sometimes you really just have to take your answer and just let it go. But this is absolutely a fave because it absolutely works when I need it to. And that's specifically what I'm reading on other people and not myself. So last of my Doreen Virtue decks is my Romance Angels deck. This is the one that you especially will find only knockoffs on Amazon. I haven't searched for the other two in particular, but you will find pretty much knockoffs. I tried to buy another one, and I got a reprinted mini version of it. Again, I had this for a long time. You can see the gold trimmings, and that is pretty shredded. It's pretty shredded, but it's gold trimmings. This is, I would say, light to mid range of darkness. We have let go of control issues, children, you deserve love, free yourself, love yourself first, flirt. It will tell you a lot of things. If you believe in soulmates, it does have a soulmate card in here, true love, chemistry. So it has a lot of different types of information on love. Probably would work well paired with the Love Oracle deck here. That will go even into more details from this. Release your ex, separation, calling on a soulmate, weddings, unrequited love. It has a nice range of cards in here. Religious factors play a role in your relationship. It has cards like deception, so codependency, it will call you out. So yeah, I would say light to light dark, you know. And that is my Doreen Virtue. I think that's the end of my Doreen Virtue collection in general. But those are my Doreen Virtue cards. I think I'm going to pull... Greetings, Cubs. Welcome and welcome back again. It's time to step in the lines then. I'm going to continue. I do plan on making... I'm going to continue my deck tour. Still starting with the Oracle readings. I am going to still make it one big reading. I'm sorry, Lord, one big video. But it is a whole new day. Please remember, I do have a really short-term memory, so I can't really remember which ones I did. I believe I took all the ones that I've already done and put them to the side. But we're going to continue where we left off. I also wanted to note that I did find my Moo Oracle card box, and it actually is not as flimsy as I initially had thought it was because it's still in pretty great shape. So the Moo Oracle that I have right here, that I keep in this bag that I showed earlier, this is the box that it came in, and so I found this on Amazon. And yeah, that's what it looks like. It's no longer there. It is a Korean deck, like I said before. It's by Moonmo Kim. You can see all the information here on the side, right here. I'll also like to start this video off by saying, and I'll probably edit it to put it in the beginning of the of it too, but this video is not sponsored by Amazon nor Hay House or any of the people who do these decks. So yeah, let's continue. Okay, so first, let's just continue. So I have the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck by Amanda Lovelace. I think I got this maybe last Christmas. I brought one for myself and one for my sister. This is something you can find on Amazon. Like I said, majority of my decks, you can find them all on Amazon and or hayhouse.com. I'll make sure to let you know which ones you can find where, and if you can't find them on either, I'll also let you know about that. The price range for this one, I think last year when I got it, may have been anywhere from 16 to 21, but these are what the cards look like. And these have keywords as well as phrases. So it says flower, be honest with yourself. This is how that looks. Has various people, I believe it has various people of color on it, and also plus size people. You have sun, paint the sun back into your sky. Wings, you know, you see different variations of body shapes and types. You know, witch. You have justice is coming. Feast, slow down and celebrate yourself. You know, yep. So, yeah. Let me pull it down a little more so you can get a clear view of what these cards kind of look like. But definitely thicker bodied people. I'm looking to see if there are any black women. There are some, maybe, potentially. Here we go. So, yeah. Black women, Asian women, you'll see them show up in the deck. So it is diverse in both body shape and ethnic groups. You'll see Latinx women, or people, I would say, people with vitiligo, Muslim individuals. So yeah, it's a very pretty diverse deck. This deck, I would say, is pretty light. You know, it doesn't get too dark. This is Evil Queen. It says you deserve sugar, not salt. It's a pretty light deck. So you're not going to get anything overly dark in this. It's light to mild dark, like Castle. It's time for healing, not war, where you can see maybe that there's some form of destruction or storm. That says every hurricane comes to an end. It's pretty bright. It doesn't necessarily go into anything overly dark, but it's a good deck for a little pick-me-up. So if you want to do a reading for yourself, but you don't want too many, you know, to have anxiety or anything like that, this is a really nice deck, nice starter deck. Nice for beginners who want to do oracle readings for themselves or their family members. I would say this is one of those decks. Very cute. It's definitely an effeminate deck. There's no masculine energy anywhere in this deck, so I don't even think there's any male presenting characters that are in here. So if you do want something that has more of a balance of masculine and feminine energy, or something that is a nice in between, this is not necessarily what you're going to get from this deck. But like I said, it's pretty good. You can find that on Amazon. Put this to the side. Okay, this deck, I'm gonna do all my, I have some more Doreen Virtues and Colette Baron Reeds, so I'm going to put those together and go through some more of those. So yes, I have more Chunky Boys coming. I'm just gonna put them over here on the side. Okay. Alright, so this one is called the, let me make sure nothing falls over. This one is called the Enchanted Map. This is by Colette Baron Reed. You guys do not see me use this one. I used to do readings in person using this deck or for myself. Let me make sure I put the box there so you can see what it looks like. This, I believe, when I got it from hayhouse.com. That's the book. It's a little thick book. I'm not going over books today, or at all. So these are the cards. The cards have one word on them. And the thing about an oracle like this is you definitely have to read the book or keep the book with you if you want to know what the card means. I'm not that type of person who's studious. So I don't be reading these books. I am not gonna lie to you. I do not like little white books, so I don't like to read them. My attention span will not hold it, but this is what the cards look like. So this one says Talisman. This one is Flying, Coming Apart. You can see how this is coming apart. Compass, Ride the Wave, Metamorphosis, Moonlight, One Ring Circus, Magic Stream. So they're very mystical kind of looking cards. You can either choose to interpret it the way you want to, or honestly, best bet is to read the books, because there will be things that you just won't really understand what the intention of them is, like goblins. Like, unless you read the book, you wouldn't be sure what they mean, what this is supposed to mean when you see the goblin, unless you see goblins as evil, or some may see it as good. But unless you read the book, you won't know how they're describing goblins. If the person who made the deck is telling you goblins is a bad thing, or if they're saying actually goblins is a good thing, and wishing well. So it really depends. This is definitely one of those decks, if you like to read and study up on your books for each deck that you have, this is something that you might want to use. Like I said, especially with me, I get a lot of oracles. I love oracles, so I don't have time to read every single little white book that comes with it. I would say this goes from light to mid-range dark, or to dark actually. I don't remember, because I haven't used it in such a long time. Like I said, because it requires me to read that entire book. But it is a pretty amazing deck. I do quite love it. I just don't use it often. Not anymore, at least. So this is what the Enchanted Map looks like. So if you're interested in this one, feel free, check it out. It's on, like I said, I believe I found it on Hay House a few years ago. So, all right. Oh. So that is one of Colette Baron Reed's decks. I'm going to go ahead and move to another one. I'm going to move to this one because it's quite similar to the Map of the Enchanted. This one is the Wisdom Oracle. As you can see, it has some dust on it. Again, another one that I have not used for a long time. Colette Baron Reed's decks kind of have a particular style. This one is another one that you may potentially have to read, but it's actually, this one doesn't really require that much reading. This one, you can honestly take this out the deck and use it as is. So here are the cards. This one is like fork in the road. You can pretty much figure what that is or interpret it the way you want. Exchanging gifts. Okay, this one just says why. Okay, we have chop wood, You may have to read the book to find out what that means. Orphaned. This is how the art looks. You'll always see a face somewhere in her decks. Not for you. It'll tell you exactly if, you know, you're trying, again, another face in the deck. I don't know why that's hidden in there. I can't remember. I think it's part of the story in the book. I'm not sure. Anyway, Treasure Island. Observer. These are pretty much one word or one phrase cards. Chaos and conflict. These are very good for expounding on all that glitters. Here it goes. On tarot readings. So they're very good being paired with tarot readings. This one says no place like home. This deck to me is light. It's pretty light to light dark. It doesn't really get dark. But although it doesn't get too dark, what it does do is it's very real, to be honest. It's very real. And it delivers. I really like this deck because it really will deliver a message without needing to necessarily be dark about it. But you can get the point, like you will get the point. It's almost like, I would like to describe it as stern, but not scary. There's no super dark imagery in this. Maybe like you have a card that says yang, but that's probably the worst you're gonna get. There is nothing in this deck that is overly bad or negative, but it's like I said, it will still somehow manage to get you right to the point, and it has no problem, you know, telling you no to something, or letting you know something is not for you, redirecting you, or putting you back on your path. Like, this is a really, really good oracle deck, and I really do like it a lot. I do still use it to this day, but I use it more personally than I do for in my readings that I record. Again, this is another deck that you can find on Hay House, and I believe you may be able to find it on Amazon, but you can find it on Hay House. Well, I don't know if Hay House still does oracles anymore, but that's where I found it, so I'm gonna let you guys know where I found it on Hay House. Let's see. I'm gonna go for this big boy. This is another one that I found on Hay House. This is a tarot deck, but I use it as an oracle because it's an oracle to me. It does sort of follow, I don't know if I should keep it in tarot, but it just doesn't. It has similarities to tarot, but it's more like an oracle to me. Like, you have cards like Balance, and this is like 7 of Forces and 6 of Keys. You have 6 of Roses, which would represent cups in a tarot. So it does have those kind of things, but they also have like very different. It's just a very different deck, the Muse. So to me, I use it as an oracle. I don't use it as a tarot. As a tarot deck. This is a light to mid-dark tarot deck, in my personal opinion. The colors of this deck are absolutely beautiful. They pop. They have a mixture of kind of, the art in it is quite interesting. So it's very interesting to look at. Let's see. It's very interesting to look at. The colors and the scenery to me pops in this deck. It's honestly stunning in my personal opinion. It's quite a stunning deck. But yeah, I use it as an oracle. You know, I'm clearing the way. The Akashic Field. This is a deck you would have to definitely keep the book on hand so you can read what they mean, or just read the book if you're good at keeping your memories. And if you're good at retaining what you've learned, this is a good deck to use. I would not use this as a beginner for oracles or tarot at all. Again, this is something I found on Hay House. And again, this isn't a deck that I use on the channel much, if at all. I don't think I've used it on the channel, or at least not in a few years or ever. I don't know. And then this one, again, another deck that I found on Hay House. So I guess the beginning of this is pretty much my Hay House collection. As you see, it's here, Hay House. You'll see the little Hay House mark on the decks that I showed you. That's where I found them. Hay House used to do these sales, and they probably be like every month, and the decks will drop from 25 to 15, and sometimes you can get all of these tarot decks for $5. I think I got this one for like $5 or $10. So around this time is a great time. If they still are selling tarot decks or oracles, it's a great time to check Hay House out and see if you can catch a sale before Christmas. So again, I'm so sorry if they stopped doing oracle sales or if Hay House is down. I haven't checked it in years. But this deck is by Denise Lynn, and it's called the Sacred Traveling Oracle Cards, the Sacred Traveler. And this is a deck that you may have seen me use earlier in my channel days. So it says Staying Focused. This has a title and it also has a key phrase on it. So this is also a very good deck for beginners. This is a very light to light dark deck. There's nothing really negative about this. It's another deck that can get the point without delivering anything too intense. So this is like staying focused, embracing, it says staying focused, and then it says hold the course. So you have something at the top to look at and something at the bottom. You don't need the book for these. Embracing enthusiasm, shout to the heavens with happiness. Let's see. Finding sanctuary, opening your spiritual source. Vast vistas, expand your horizons. So this is also for me a deck I would say is easy for kids to use. Distant thunder, clear the air. So this is like probably what you could say what the darker cards may look like, which is why I say a light dark. It doesn't get really intense, but this is what these oracle cards look like. They're very pretty, and if you like purple is my personal favorite color, as you can see. It is my favorite color. So this deck is nice. It has a nice smooth matte feel to it, and a matte finish. And they're just honestly pretty positive cards. They get to the point. They're not something I would reach for if you're looking for a very intense, down to the nitty-gritty kind of reading. This is something that I would say is you get up in the morning and you pull a card or three and you go on about your day, or you pull these in the beginning of the week and you meditate on that, or I think that's what it comes off to me. This is also good for pairing with tarot readings. Very good. What do I want to call a pairing deck? This is a very good pairing deck. This is an oracle I would pair with a tarot reading. You pull some tarot cards and then you pull one of these bad boys, and it can help clarify some things or expound on it. So that's what the Sacred Traveler's Oracle looks like. And I think my last Hay House deck is, I think this is my last Hay House deck. I paid a lot of money for this because they don't make this anymore, and I never used it. But I got it in the beginning of my reading journey. my journey as a tarot reader, and then I realized I'm not that great at past life readings, only because I never practiced. We have past life. This is a past life oracle. I don't think you can find this anywhere at this point. Oh, that's where the book went. I put it in the wrong deck. Yeah, I don't think you can find this deck anywhere at this point, and I am not sure how much it's gonna run you. It could run you guys like maybe $99, $100 or more, because she stopped making these a long time ago, and then Doreen Virtue stopped making decks, and I think she stopped pairing with Hay House, so the Doreen Virtue ones may not be on Hay House anymore. I don't think you can find Doreen Virtue decks, period. So you can only get the rip-off versions of her decks. This is the last of her original ones. As you can see, it has a gold trimming that is worn. I did use it a few times to practice on past life readings. I'm okay with them, but they're just not my favorite to do. So I don't do them. This is what the cards look like. Oop. This says finances. This is very clear and to the point. You don't really need a book. Trust and faith, mother. So these are good to go with when you're doing a past life reading for someone. These are great clarification cards. They're great to add on to your reading. Galactic, orphan, leaving or travel, Atlantis, Native American, Asia, father, war and battles, food and hunger, Greco-Roman, male, female, medicine woman, monk or nun, love or love life. You know, it's just kind of like that. It's pretty to the point. You know, I hate when they do this, though, if they're going to put, like, you know, continents like Asia, or if they're going to say, you know, Native American to cover the indigenous people or something. I wish a lot of people would stop just using Egypt as all of Africa and just put Africa. But it's kind of, to me, it doesn't really cover as much as it could, especially if they're going to go, if she was going to go and start putting continents down. She might as well have put every single one in here, all the continents. But yeah, this is what we get for the past life oracle. I may start doing past life readings eventually next year, kind of start getting back into it. But that's what this looks like. I'm not going to tell you you can find this anywhere, but you can attempt to look for it and see if anyone is selling a used one, you know. But they're pretty, I think they're pretty expensive last time I checked, because she don't make them no more. Okay, so that's all of my Hay House and Doreen Virtue and Colette Baron Reed decks, I believe. So I'm going to, no, I have one more. This one is another Doreen Virtue one. This is my first, I think this is my first Oracle deck. This and my Angels Answers deck were my first Oracle decks that I had ever received or got. This one is called Angels of Abundance. I did a lot of readings for people. This was before I had my YouTube channel. I did a lot of readings for people in person on this, and this is actually the deck that I use where I got my most vivid visions. Which is interesting because I don't think I get them as strong when I'm using anything else. This deck is something. I don't know. This deck is something. But some of the cards, again, you don't need a book for this. They have a paragraph. to explain every single one of these cards. So this one says no more complaining. This deck is pretty light to light to mid dark light. Because again, it's another one that gets straight to the point. So this one says no more complaining. Complaints are affirmations of victimhood, which is never true spiritually. Take back your God-given power by affirming that you have an abundance of choice and freedom. With your increased confidence and assertiveness, watch those positive affirmations bloom into reality. So they have full paragraphs to explain. This is another one of those daily pull card decks that I would say. So this is one that I would suggest if you were to get it. You pull one in the morning, you read it, and you know, you go on about your day carrying that message with you, or you pull it at night, however you prefer. A lot of Doreen's Virtue decks, they center around angels. So if you're interested in angels or angelic decks, this is what you find in them. They're all angelic. So you know, the saints, you're going to see the saints, all of that. But this is what they look like. It's not overly diverse. Like, I think it's maybe 2 cards with black women in them. So it's not overly diverse. This is the second one. She's gorgeous. Yeah. But you will find some, I think there's black and Asian women here, children here. But yeah, it's not overly diverse. There's maybe 3 or 4 cards in here that have people of color on them. But that's what that deck looks like. It is a lot of information in just one pull. Like I said, this is not a deck where you need to pull several cards. This is a deck you can pull 1 card and be set. You pull 1 card or 2, but it really depends on your own personal style. So that is, I believe, now officially the last of my Doreen Virtue decks. Okay, now I'm gonna get more into some other decks that you'll probably not see me use so much on the channel, or decks that I just don't use in general because I don't vibe with them or whatever. I'm going to show you just the rest of them, and I'll tell you if I actually mess with them or not. This is the Oracle of Visions. I have to read to know what the hell this deck is talking about, and I don't even know where the book is, and obviously I do not like doing that. So this deck is, again, not something for beginners. This deck has very complicated imagery, and it has no keywords at all. There's no keywords. It's just imagery. I've used this deck to I guess really channel my family's spirit guides, or like tell them their ancestors and everything, or what they have to say, or what they do, or bring in their life. That was pretty cool, but I don't use this deck for pretty much anything anymore. I only used it maybe once or twice. But I am quite fond of it because I like the imagery. I like when the imagery has a lot going on in it, personally. Not too much, but enough to tell a story, because I'm just that type of person who can get visions from imagery alone. This deck is not diverse. So if you're looking for a diverse deck, this is not it. It's not it. All of the people in this deck, they're white European people. You're not going to find anyone really else who is of any other ethnic group in this oracle. And that's probably the most disappointing about decks like these. But they have really cool imagery, and that's why I like it. Other than that, this deck doesn't really have much, in my personal opinion, that it offers. Besides a great practice for intuitive, and for me to be intuitive and just pick up on things in general. But yeah, if that's your style, if you like something that has no words on it and you're more into reading the books and kind of going with the flow, this is a deck for you. If you don't mind your decks not being diverse, this is also a deck for you. So I personally am not overly pressed about certain decks not being diverse, and that's only because I'm not surprised by it. It's like one of those things where I'm like, oh, who's surprised, you know? So I'm just like, it's just kind of like, it's disappointing but not surprising. This is the Lantern Oracle. This is actually a deck that I got that's fairly new. I got it because of this wonderful, beautiful woman on the front, but I never really used it because I ended up not liking the deck that much. So it looks brand new, but I've had it for months. It looks brand new. Brand new. I believe I may have showed it before, but it looks brand new. So this says strength of vulnerability. True power lies at the root of perceived weakness. Okay. This deck is diverse. The next card is emotional energy. Emotions are messengers to be met with appropriate attention, action, and gratitude. Again, so you can see black women. Enough. You know, you can see let me move the box out the way so you can see more of the cards. You know, you get to see some other people of color, Asian or indigenous women that are represented as well. So it is quite diverse. I mean, it's still mostly, you know, European. But you'll get a sprinkle of, you know, I guess some other people existing, but for the most part, you know, I think those were like, okay, I don't know. But this is what the deck looks like. It's a really pretty deck, and to be honest, I'm going to incorporate this deck. Oh, look at this one. I'm going to incorporate this deck a lot more because honestly, it's not that bad. I just really need to start using it more and get to know it better in order to vibe with it. So that's what this deck looks like. I know I pile it up like that, but that's what that deck looks like. Where's the... Oh, okay. This deck I also found on Amazon. Alright. So another deck that I have that I don't use is the Psychic Reading cards. I think I may have a blue version of this upstairs in my room. Look at me misplacing all of my books. Where? So anywho, these are my Psychic Reading cards. I don't use this deck. I wasn't fond of it. Honestly, any deck that comes in a box that looks like this, for me, is personally low-key trash. But Yeah, I have a blue version of this. I didn't like that one either, and I seem to have not learned my lesson. I'm actually going to go through all the ones that look like this that I really don't like. Oh wait. So boom. So the psychic reading cards, you can find it on Amazon. This is what they look like. Phoenix is right here. Tree of Life, Travel, Feathers, Baby, Loved Ones in Spirit, Coins, House, Juggler, Eagle, Celebrated, Time. I mean, I can use these easy with a tarot reading. They go great as an accompaniment with tarot readings and some tarot decks, music, third eye, doorways. But for me, I get bored with some of the cards that are just one word. The trash man is coming, so I'm sorry if y'all hear a lot of noise. But I get very easily bored with decks that are just kind of one words, because it gets quite repetitive as I go through the decks, especially the ones that look like this. It's always, you know, dance or time or, you know, angels or chakras. It's always kind of the same ones for me. So abundance. So I kind of get very easily over decks that look like this. Is it beautiful? It absolutely is. It's not necessarily diverse, but there's not many people represented on these cards. I mean, like, there. Oh, it is diverse. Here you go. This is the first time I actually seen for the angel them actually, wow. Especially with few people in the deck, for them to actually make the angel a black woman, that is surprising to me. So yeah, it is diverse. You have, it's not that many cards with people on it, but boom. I mean, she's white, but I'm just saying, like, there is still a mixture of people on here. For the very few cards that have humans on it, they did a very good job with sort of making sure that not only just one particular type of person was represented, ethnic group was represented. So there's that. I may start using this a little more, maybe. That's probably the only reason why it's actually still down here in my reading area. I brought this one fairly recently, a few months ago, and I don't think I used it. And the reason why, I'll show you. So this is the True Love reading cards. You can find it on Amazon. And the words here: maturity, the silver waterfall, freedom. So y'all can read it. Manifestation. I brought it. Emotional freedom. The gardener. I brought it because I liked the keywords on them. I really did enjoy them. They were quite different from spiritual maturity. They were a little bit different. They put a little twist on the regular cards that I end up grabbing that are kind of the same one word. It's just different imagery or by a different person. Reparenting yourself, that was an interesting card that I definitely found to be very needed in my decks, especially with people who are, and reading for people who are who have trauma, or unlocking or uncovering my own, you know, self-respect, yin and yang, boundaries. Now this is where I had a problem with this deck. This deck is very Eurocentric. There's no, you know, people of color on this deck, but what they do, and this is why I didn't like it and then ended up not really using it. Number one, I'm not too big of a fan of the, oh, this has nudity in it, hold of the kind of crayon look. You know, I colored this at home in my little school book, like in my little coloring book. But also, they have non-POCs dressed up in what looks like, you know, native garb. And it's just, it really didn't sit right with me. I just didn't like the imagery. I think this is probably the closest to an actual, you know, indigenous person represented in, these are probably like the two closest ones that actually look like they're represented by, you know, the correct people. But for the most part, those are literally the only two cards that have people of color on them, and the rest of them seem to be the image of this same woman. And that kind of was a bit of a turn off for me for the deck. Although I love the words, the keywords, I was not a fan of the imagery of this, and that kept me and has kept me from really using this deck. I definitely think a lot of these oracle creators could do better. They could do a lot better. I don't think that, you know, some of them, they kind of self-insert way too much. And that kind of, it's just, it doesn't, it's, This is another deck that I have, another one of these pretty big magnet flap decks. This is Dream Reading Oracle cards. I do not use this one much. I've had this for many years. Don't know how many years, but quite a few years. Anywhere from maybe 3 years. Maybe. Anyway, so this is what the box looks like. You can find this on Amazon. And you have the reading cards in the gold, and then you have the theme cards in the red. So it's like you pick a theme. So the theme is like celebrations or occasions. And then, you know, you pick some reading cards like magic and flow. And so magic says shift your focus to a positive view. We are all interconnected, linked by a magic thread. Believe in yourself. Your magic is within you. And then you have flow, which says you can't control life's events. You can only control how you deal with them. Let's go with the flow. When life challenges you, emotions can overflow unless you release them. So this is kind of how they look. These are the reading cards. I don't use it much, so I'm not sure about diversity. Right now I'm not seeing much on that. Seems like everybody in here is pretty much European. And these are the theme cards, which have words like vehicles, car, naked, flying, schools and exams, birth. This gets dark because it gets straight to the point, as you can see. Death, chaste, weather, games, body, possessions, water, food, people, animals, communications, home, houses or buildings, spiritual guides, landscapes, colors and numbers. This is a deck that you can kind of use however you want to. It does have instructions on how to use it, because the point of it is to interpret dreams using these cards, and I never do that. For the most part, I don't dream. For the most part, I do not dream. So I don't have anything to really interpret for myself. Yeah, that's this deck. That's also why you won't really see it on this channel. I don't do dream interpretations. I wouldn't have used it for that anyway. as well as, yeah, I just haven't found a use for it. So those are my magnet flat books, flat decks that I'm not quite fond of. Yeah. So now I'm going to move on to this big boy. This is the Visionary I Ching cards. I do not actually know how to use I Ching. I use these as an oracle. I'm not sure if there's an actual proper way to use it. I don't use it that way. I do things the way I like to do them. I found this on Amazon. Not sure why I even brought them, but I do use them every now and then. You'll probably see that I've used it in some readings earlier this year. So they have words like pushing upwards or cutting through, endurance, splitting apart, creative power, revolution, humility, words like that. Yeah, so they're kind of like one word, one word or one phrase cards, and below them they have things like earth above, earth below, or water above, mountain below. Again, if I actually read, I would know what was going on, what it meant. But these are what the cards look like. You know, this is what nearing completion. They're kind of abstract. So that's what they look like. I use these for pretty much expansion on my tarot reading. So you'll see these in some of my readings. This ranges from light to mid-dark. At least from what I can remember. Light to mid-dark, I would say. Yeah. Okay, Cubs, continuing on. Every time I stop, I seem to find another deck that I missed. I arranged these a little bit in a way where I'm going to go from lighter to darker. Yeah, lighter to darker oracles. So I'm going to start with some of the brighter ones first. That doesn't mean I won't have any brighter ones a little later, but I just kind of piled a few of the ones that I know that are very light, bright, and lighthearted up. I've also separated some animal ones into a pile. So we're going to start off with really bright ones. Hay House will come up again because I'm seeing some more Hay House decks. I thought I had done the end of them, but apparently not so. So, boom. A lighter deck, or I'm sorry, a lighter oracle in particular will be Empowering Questions. This is one that I picked up. This was mostly for myself. This was not really to be used for readings that I do on the channel. I thought this would be cute, but I ended up not using it at all. So it's pretty much brand new. Maybe one day I'll do a giveaway, I don't know. But it's pretty much brand new. And the cards kind of look like doors, or like little patches on doors. Like this one says, what is my biggest dream? What can I do today to move closer to that dream? That's what that says. This one says, what kinds of routines or habits limit my experience of everyday life? So they're very good questions. I just don't end up using them. What does happiness mean to me? Who or what defines the contents of my life? So if you're trying to sort yourself out and you want to figure out what are the right questions you should be asking, what should you be finding answers to, this is a pretty cute deck to use. What is my mission in life? Who am I when I'm alone? What am I thankful for today? You know, it's like little cards to pull. Again, maybe in the mornings or at night or however you want to use them. It can help to bring up thoughts of what you should concentrate on, or maybe bring up things that you overlooked. Like example, how it said, what should I be thankful for today? Maybe some things that you needed to take a step back and look like, wow, you know, something really great happened to me today and I didn't thank, you know, the universe for that, or I didn't thank that person who helped me out when this could have been disastrous. So it kind of brings attention to things like that. It's a very good deck to use for self-development, personal enlightenment. Let's see, how or in what way do I experience myself when I'm alone? It's another way that they rephrase a question here. What would I do if I had enough time? What do I do when I have time? That's a really good one. So it has very intriguing questions, and this is just what the cards look like. All right, this is a deck, like I said, it's brand new, so you know I don't use it, and I may have used it on the channel once, maybe, I don't know, I don't think so, I'm not sure, but there's that. I don't know where the box is for this. I may not have the boxes for all of my tarot decks, but this is called the... don't do that. This is called the Fool's Wisdom. I'm sorry if the camera was blurry in times I didn't notice. And it's kind of a story that trails around this fool. And so it's different types of fools. This is a pretty light deck, I believe. You can use this for all ages, I believe. Well, not necessarily all ages, but like the Crazy Fool, Fool's Wisdom. It says, get in touch with what you want and need to make it your top priority. This is what the cards look like. The Trickster, a Fool's Wisdom, get real. The Righteous Fool, be wise, not right. The Graceful, be graceful. So it's like a play on the word fool. The Painful, like painful. The Painful says face your pain. So it's kind of simple. The Playful, be fun and playful. It's like really simple. This is kind of like children can use this. The Fearful, the Deceitful, Reclusive Fool. You know, it's a play on words, so it's some cute little puns in here. But it helps through a lot of things. The Romantic Fool, which says fall in love with yourself and with life. So it just is something that is really cute to use for some everyday stuff, or if you just want something light and cheerful to help you go on your day. That's what it looks like. This is the back of it. I'm sorry, I don't know where the box is. That's what the back of the deck looks like. This is a deck, I believe. Ooh, I can't tell if this was on Hay House. I think it may have been on Hay House. But the deck is called the Fool's Wisdom, if I didn't already say that. It is called the Fool's Wisdom. You may be able to find it on Amazon or Hay House. That's another one of my brighter decks. This is a very bright deck. I have another one like this, but I can't find it. I think that it looks blue. I'm pretty sure I used it recently, but I can't find it right now. This is called Grace Cards. This is a pretty diverse deck as well. It has different types of people on it. But it's pretty much a one-word pull from the front, and then there's phrases on the back. So, connect. Beautiful artwork. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful artwork. And on the back, it says, find your center. When we stay connected to our spiritual core, the best and most advantageous path unfolds before us. So the back will look like this. Love. beautiful, beautiful artwork. I'm in love with the artwork on this deck. And then the back says, share your heart to love another. Share your heart to love another is the ultimate expression of grace. Okay, so you know, surrender, and just the art for me is honestly breathtaking. Again, these are kind of like one card pull decks. For me, you know, you wake up and you kind of pull one to see. Well, I thought this one would be a little more diverse, but it obviously, as you can see, it's not. Clearly, maybe it was the other one that had a more diverse. This one that looks like this, but it had more diverse people in it. Here's, I guess, your first black girl. But it's not. Yeah, I guess it's not very diverse at all. So diversity, 0 points. I don't know. Maybe that is an attempt at something. I don't know. I always loved this card for some reason. Here's your second black girl. Maybe a Latina. I don't know, but I wouldn't call it diverse, because I would say these are probably the only 4 cards out of 50 that could possibly resemble anyone who is non-white. So it doesn't really give you much on diversity. It's, you know, unless you get unless you get cards like quiet, which is strange. Quiet, peace, faith, or maybe invoke. Unless you're getting these 4 cards, you're not really going to see yourself represented over, you know, too much in this deck. So representation is kind of not great. But it's good for some morning pulls or something, however you want to use it. As you can see, the Hay House marking is on there. That's where I found it. And you may be able to find it on Amazon, not sure. Another deck that's kind of like this one. It's not diverse at all. And I believe it's another kind of one card, one word. Well, not like this one. This one has paragraphs on the back. This is a one word kind of deck. This is how the front looks. I thought it was cool. I kind of love sort of darker imagery. This has darker imagery, but I put it in the light side because the cards, I believe, if I can remember off the top of my head, are pretty light. So this is a deck you don't really need the book for. The words are pretty simple. Love. You're going to see this in like probably any oracle deck. You're going to see some of these same words. Purity, surrender, ancestors. For all of my, you know, non-black people, this is not for us, but you know, it can still represent it. If you can get past the imagery, you can still get your message using this. I do use this deck quite a lot because I do like the imagery. Here's some form of diversity. This says discernment. But yeah, if you can get past the imagery, here you go. Okay, here's some more people of color. So there does seem to be some Asian representation in this deck. So let's see. There's no black representation that I see. but there's definitely a lot of Asian representation. So all my South and East Asian cubs, you will be able to see yourself represented in this deck if this fancies you. But yeah, this is pretty much a one-word kind of oracle. Easy to just open and use immediately. You don't have to worry about the book if you're not the type of person that wants to read the book every time you open a deck. You know, then this is definitely a beautiful deck for you. You can just hop right into it. You don't need to do any hard research on anything. You just open it and start working. And it's very easy for beginners. The imagery and the wording is pretty, you know, pretty kind. I would say it's light to possibly light dark, but I think it's fully light. I'm just gonna do this. This is the Love Oracle. The box has been destroyed because the box for this one was cheap, definitely. I ordered 2 of these because I thought I would like this more. So this is actually 2 decks. This is 2 of the same decks in one. Like I said, I don't have the box. This is actually, I would say, light to mid dark, I would say, or a light. We have words like Ice King, Twin Flame, Freedom, Ice Queen, Short Term, Beauty Queen, Past Love, New Love, Spiritual Growth, Control. It's a pretty cool card to me, honestly. Control, Soulmate, Destiny, Family, Union, Young, Male, Dating Queen, Dating, Money. So this is, you know, you want to handle love or do a love reading, you can find this on Amazon. True Love, Karma, Friendship. Did I do Young Female already? I don't know. Like I said, it's 2 decks, 2 of the same decks in one. Passion, Fair Male, Blonde Female, Matured Man, Courting Man, Past Life, Brunette Female, Friendship. I think there's like maybe 1 person of color in here. Here he goes. The Dark Male. Now that I think of it, do we not have a dark female? Just, I'm just gonna be very blunt and real. A lot of these decks will often have a darker male and never usually a female. I don't know why. The love decks. I don't know why that is, but whatever. But that's what this deck looks like. It's not very diverse, honestly. It does center around more of your, you know, more white people. You know, you're just gonna see white people and then that 1 black man card. So yeah. As you can tell, I don't actually use this deck often. Yeah, I don't use it often. I thought I would honestly be in love with it. I did think it was going to be a little more diverse than it was, but unfortunately, I jumped the gun, got to, and was kind of disappointed. Although I do like the phrases in this deck and the different types of lovers to soulmates that's offered, it just didn't kind of stick with me like I would have hoped. This deck is the Labyrinth Wisdom cards. I brought this at a festival. I think this is light to light dark. I'm not sure, I can't remember. But this is how this deck looks. It comes with a word here, phrase or whatever at the top, and then a little sentence at the bottom. So cosmic consciousness, and then at the bottom it'll say the cosmos is within you, awaken to this consciousness. And so that's kind of how it is. Psychic, break free, pleasure, human, speak your truth, warrior, angels, life, animals, square, the circle. So yeah, this is kind of what this deck looks like. It's pretty artistic. It doesn't have anything overly dark in this, I don't believe. Yeah, it's nothing really dark in this deck. Maybe the darkest you get is shadow side. Yeah, and not really this transition. So yeah, shadow side is probably the darkest you're gonna get into this deck, but it also, you know, it's still a decent deck to get you the message that you need to hear. So like I said, it gives you a little phrase at the top and then a sentence at the bottom. So it is another deck that you can, if you want, just open and just begin to work with it. And you know, if you don't want to go through the book every time you get a new deck, depending on how much you guys buy, because I used to buy a lot of decks back when I had the money to do so. I used to buy a lot of decks at once, so I wasn't going to go through all them books, but that's what that looks like. It doesn't really have people on it, so you don't have to concern yourself with feeling represented in it, or you know, you don't have to worry about diversity because it's not showing people in it. The next deck is, I don't know if I did this one, the Sixth Sense or Connection Oracle cards. Got this on Amazon. Again, this is a very pretty purple, actually. That's nice. Anyway, this is light to mid dark, I would say. I think I had some lighter decks that I forgot to grab, but anyway, there is maybe a wee there. I think this may be diverse. We're starting off with this card, as you can see, and this says change. These have one word on each card. There's nothing on the back to interpret. It's just one word and then the picture. So some may want to choose to use the book, or some can go just off of the imagery and the sentence, word or sentence. This one says hello from heaven. This one says healing light, relax, hero, emerge, prison, angel, heart's desire, confusion. So it has a lot to work with here. Is that oppression? Opportunity, Lord. But yeah, it has a lot to work with. In this deck, I would say it's light to maybe mid dark, maybe. Because it has words like maybe manipulation. Again, I'm not sure what people would consider as dark, so just letting you know, this is, in my personal opinion, it's light. There's nothing that mentions death in this. I don't think, I'm checking. Yeah, there's nothing that mentions death in this, so it's light. It does have words like maybe, I believe, imprisonment and maybe manipulation, you know, so it does touch on some lighter dark things that can be going on in your life. But other than that, it also has the elements, the seasons, so winter, summer, fall, spring. Talks about angels, but that's pretty much what this deck looks like. This you can find it on Amazon. I'm pretty sure that's where I got this from. Honestly, my oracles, like I've been saying, are going to be on Amazon or Hay House. The ones that are really not going to be on either are probably going to happen when I show you my tarot decks. This is a bright deck as well. This is my, let's see, it's called the, oh, this is Colette Baron Reed again. This is a Hay House deck. This is called Goddess Power. This is a diverse deck that kind of goes over the goddesses from around the world. So we have Scold, and it's like the name of the goddess, and then it's the name of the goddess, and then the word represented, so it's like the future. We have Yuki Onna, stillness, you know. We have Oshun, generosity. We have Mahat, and she's represented by truth. This is probably one of the first times that I actually see them make the African Egyptian goddesses actually African. As you can see, they actually look like how, you know, they did. So that's a good thing to see. So it does have a very diverse set of goddesses that is in this deck. I brought it because of that. But I ended up not liking this deck at all or using it. I do think it's fun to use if you want to just find out or use it to say, hey, well, what goddess energy do you carry? Or what goddess is, you know, will work with you, you know, things like that. It's very, you know, it's nice to use it for that. But I don't know. I just ended up not caring for it. I didn't personally find a use for it. After I did a few readings on some family members, I just I didn't use it. So that is what the Goddess Power Oracle deck is. Like I said, one day I may do a giveaway and rehome these babies. Because as you can see from the side, it is still brand new. There's no tearing. It's just nothing wrong with this deck. It's beautiful. So it's still in great condition. At worst, if I were to rehome some of these books, decks, the worst thing you would have to worry about is not getting the book along with it. But yeah. Case is in great condition. So I'll move that to the side. Alright. So as I showed you, I'm actually going to move to this one. Because as I had showed you the goddess, let me pull it out so you can see a comparison. Okay. Because I want these. Okay, they did it in this one too, and I don't like that. But hold on. Because a lot of times, and I'm just going to be blunt, a lot of times when white people make decks, they do not like to make Egyptian people, African Egyptian people, African Egyptian. They like to replace them with white people. And that is not what they were. Let me go ahead and bring out that card again. Because I want you to see a clear difference between the decks and also why I ended up not being so fond of using them. Okay. So in this, which I'm not surprised, this deck by Colette Baron Reid, they gave us one African Egyptian woman, and then they turned Isis into a white woman. Which is the same as what is here. So this is a deck also brand new that I may one day rehome. I was not a fan of this deck because I got it because I wanted some more decks that centered around African culture and African Egyptian culture as well. I know African Egyptian culture is very popular, but they very much always replace the Africans with white European people who settled here later. They made the women in this deck look pretty much ambiguous or very high yellow. You could say high yellow black or just white. So like here's some of the features that look, you know, African black a little, but the person is very high yellow, if not white completely. And that is continuous in this deck. The most ethnic people you'll see is probably the males that are represented, but then the women, again, like I said, it's something where it's very common that I see in a lot of decks, especially decks that want to center themselves in Africa. They will make the women white, but sometimes they will make some of the males actually look black and African. But the women are not allowed to be that. Again, very European features and skin tones. It's just pretty much a white woman cosplaying as an African Egyptian woman, goddess. Like I said, sometimes they actually have some of the features and then not so much. So, I mean, it's up to how you see or interpret the decks. I do feel like, for me personally, that they look a little bit too ambiguous and a little bit too light. You know, I'm expecting more of this, more of an Iman look, you know, but I'm just not fond of this kind of art. You guys let me know what you think, your personal take, because these are white women. These are white women. It's disappointing. I didn't read any of some of the cards. Let me go ahead and read them. So some of the cards say Lady of the Stars, Priest of Cyrus, Scales of Balance, Divine Sisterhood, Enter the Chamber of Healing, Soul Ritual, Temple of Black Obsidian, the Black Healing Chamber. I would say this is I wouldn't say it's light. I would say it's a medium type of deck. Medium dark, maybe. Yeah, because, you know, things like sacrifice to Osiris, Lord of the Dead, like things like that is said in here. So it's a brother of darkness, overcoming negative energy or feminine power. But it depends on how you view darker cards. I would say it's not light. It's actually a medium dark deck all around. So, you know, I would say, you know, check it out at your own discretion. Again, this deck is in wonderful condition. I may end up rehoming it. If I do, the back is beautiful. The glossy finish is stunning. It's honestly, it's beautiful. It's too whitewashed for me. All right. Oh, Lord. I thought that going through my Oracle decks was going to take at worst 2 hours, but my God, it's taking me 3 days to film this. So before I head into these, I'm going to go and finish off with these and then go into my animal decks. So this deck is called Wisdom of the House of the Night. These have this has words on it and imagery. You can read this with, you can use the book for this, or you can take this right out the deck. No, I would say you do some light reading for this deck. So, I mean, it has your typical keywords. Here's your imagery. This one just says letting go. Differences. Belonging, House of the Night. Loyalty. So it's your typical kind of one word, you know, risks, unknown, lust, success, deceit. What you would probably want to read on is High Priestess of Fire and High Priestess of Earth. Of course, it's going to be the High Priestess of each element. But it's just kind of one word cards. Nothing too big. This is pretty, I would say, light. Yeah, pretty light. The deck itself is kind of maybe darker in imagery. But yeah, it's darker in imagery, but the words are pretty light. So imagery may be darker, you know, light dark, but outside of that, it's pretty light. We have cards like Chaos. I don't know if I did this one already. I'm so sorry if I did it again. But yeah, this deck is not diverse. So if you're looking for some form of representation, black, brown, yellow, there's no representation of us in these decks. So yeah, as you can see, I use it a little bit. Maybe a teach of the foil may be coming off, and it's like a little scratched, but it's not as bad as some of my others. Like this side is perfect, you know. It's only this side that I kind of scratched up a little bit, doing a little bit of shuffling. So that is my Wisdom of the House of the Night deck, Oracle deck. Oh, goodness. I haven't even gotten to my favorite ones. I haven't even gotten to my favorite Oracle decks, to be honest. I don't use this one much. I will probably try to incorporate this one more. This is called the Divination of the Ancients. I am missing a Halloween Oracle deck. That's exactly what it's called. Halloween Oracle deck. I'm missing that one. I don't know where it is. Oh well. I'm saying it now. I have a deck called the Halloween Oracle deck. You can find that on Amazon. So this one has, I don't even know how to pronounce this word, but it says Omen. This has 2 keywords. So arrow and focus, pendulum and decision. Again, you can use this with or without the book. Some of them maybe, you know, some of them maybe you want to read more into it, like augur, and it says mastery or ruin. No, not runes, but perception. Like I said, it does have a clarification word under it, just in case you just don't understand the top word. It's still kind of your one word kind of decks to me, and it's, you know, typical mastery, gamble, wisdom, you know, affirmation, patience, message, guidance, illusion, observation, fate, fortune, foresight, destiny. It's, you know, it does have some more interesting kind of words here that I wasn't expecting, like, well, not words, just types of cards, like mentioning of numerology or palm readings. But in the end, it's just, it's still your typical one-word deck. To be honest, it's almost like if you have one, you have it all. But sometimes different imagery will inspire different things. So sometimes you may want to collect a few of them. So yeah, this is what this deck looks like. It's pretty light. To me, maybe mid-dark in imagery. Or if you're afraid of other forms of divination, like palm readings, candle magic, and things like that, then maybe it may be a little intimidating to you. See that coming up. So I would say it's maybe light dark, but you know, it's pretty light to me. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on from this one. Man, I hope this is appreciated, because it took a lot of time and energy, and I gotta clean all this up. Alright, let's go to my animal decks. So these look like tarots. This is like my the Wild Unknown Spirit. Hey. The Wild Unknown Spirit Animal deck. I stole this from my mama because she knew better than to bring it over here. So pretty much this is an animal deck. If you want to use this to work on, I guess, your spirit, finding out what your spirit animal is, or confirming what your spirit animal is. If you know, for those of you who have them. I'm not sure if that is I believe a native tradition. You know, I think it may be, but for those of you who use it for that, there's that. And then if you guys just want to use it as an oracle, which I use it for, an oracle, and you just want to use the animals, that's what this is for. It has a booklet that I don't have in here. I always remove my books to make the deck and the box less heavy. But yeah, the deck is very beautiful. This is what it looks like. And they just have the name of the animal on there. So some parts of these are reflective, which is pretty cool. It's amazing artwork, as you can see. I'm going to leave this here, and I'm just going to go ahead and open this one because it's pretty much the same thing. And this is the Tarot of the Wild Unknown. Let me make sure that this is a tarot and not an oracle, or an oracle. Either way. I mean, I got to see. By the way, this is exactly why I take everything out. This is super huge. Then the book. Then I have to lift the book out, and then I got to get another box that's inside of it, and then open that box to get to the deck. This is actually a tarot, so I'm not going to show it. Well, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of it because it goes with this oracle here. So they're meant to go together, but that's a little sneak peek of that tarot deck. So when I finally get to the tarot portion of this, you guys will kind of remember, oh, that went with that oracle. It's a lot of work to put it back. Put it back in the box, and then I gotta slip this thing over it. Put it back on the shelf. Oh, goodness. Okay. I am sleepy, hungry, and worn out. Okay. Boom. So that was my oracle, animal oracle. This is my second animal oracle deck that I have on me right now that I can remember that I have. I don't particularly like decks centered around animals. I'm not a fan of them, to be honest, so I don't have many. So this one, let me have the box here. This one looks like it's like made of wood. It's very nice. Like it's like a, and then it has like a smooth matte finish. It says message from your spirit, or from your animal spirit guides. Okay, and so they'll have a word on it like cardinal. They'll have the name of the animal or a bird, animal, and it says the polarities of your spiritual pursuit and physical pleasure are out of balance. So do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. So you'll have a word and a phrase or paragraph at the bottom. Honeybee, let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. So it's good for advice. Roadrunner, keep your sense of humor. Don't take things too seriously. Walrus, remain vigilant about the current situation. Pay attention to signs and omens and let them dictate your choices. So it's just, you know, these animals and insects that have wisdom to share. This is a fairly new deck that I got a few months ago. I've used it for personal readings and then I forgot about it. So, because to be honest, I don't really read on myself. So I usually get a deck and I'll read on myself around the time when I first get it, and then maybe practice reading on random things. And then I don't really, if I don't feel like it'll be of use to me on my channel, I probably will put it on my shelf and forget that it exists. But it is still in great condition, as you can see. The edges are not frayed. You know, everything's neat and nice. This is a Hay House deck, but I believe I got this off of Amazon. Hay House does fast deliveries as well, by the way. Okay. Oh my God. Now I'm going to go a little further into my, well, no, I have another one. This is another Hay House one. Oh my God, how many Hay House decks do I have? So this is one that a lot of you may have seen a lot, especially for those of you who have gotten personal readings from me. You may have seen your Ask Your Spirit Guides deck. Probably won't recognize the box because it's never in the video, but you'll recognize the cards. So here's the Ask Your Spirit Guides deck, and this is what they look like. They'll have a keyword at the top and the bottom. So this one says family, and then it says Holy Spirit. This one says self-control, and it says higher self. This one says discipline, and then master teacher. So I would say this is light to mid-dark of a deck. It's light to mid-dark of a deck because the imagery can seem pretty intimidating. Deceit, and then you have like angels above you, but then you also have people holding a mask, or you holding your own mask, but it just kind of can look very intense sometimes. Like suffering. I would say this can get dark, light to dark, or light to mid dark. Loss. Yeah, I'm gonna say dark. It gets dark. Despair. So it this has a wide range of emotions that it can send you through. The spirit ask your guides does not play. It will read you for filth. You know, it will drag you. You know, shadow, divine healers. But it has intentions to bring you out of your slump. It's a deck that forces you to kind of face what you're going through or what can be around you. So it has to have that range This has death in it, so it's death, guardian angels, competition, warrior guides, bravado, more warrior guides. So it's like it denial. It just can go a lot of places, and you can cover a lot with just this one oracle deck that only has 52 oracle cards in it. But it does range from light to dark. So if that is something that you think you can handle, then feel free to get up and go grab this one from Amazon or Hay House if it's still there. This is the back of it. Okay. A deck I use a lot, but it's still in pretty great condition. It's not terrible. Oh, let me not put it back in the box. All right. I am worn out. Okay. This is a tarot deck, but I don't really use it as such. But you know what? I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it for my tarot decks. And you know what? I'm going to put this in a category of tarot decks I use as oracles. But since it really is a tarot, I'm going to leave it in the tarot section. I'm leave it in the tarot section. Okay. Okay. We're at the part where we get into decks that have pretty dark imagery, darker imagery, and these are also yeah, we're gonna get into these. Okay, so this is the Barbary. I cannot pronounce it. I'm so sorry. Zodiac Oracle. Okay. So I don't really use this deck much. But this is what it looks like. Sun, Venus, Virgo. So it has zodiac signs and planets and elements. Fire, Leo. Hey, look, I'm all here. Scorpio, Moon, Gemini. This is pretty much what the cards look like. Again, this is paired into my darker imagery. I'm sorry, darker decks, because the imagery can be a little intense for some people. Cancer. But it basically just covers the elements, the zodiac signs, and planets. So for those of you who are very much into astrology, this is a great deck to pick up. The people are somewhat, the images are somewhat humanoid, but they're not human. They don't really, you know, so I don't really think about necessarily diversity in this too much. I don't think about it when I'm using this deck. I haven't used it in a while on this channel, but yeah, that's what it looks like. So yeah, let me go ahead and put this up. I would, I don't remember if I ranked it, but I would say it's a very light deck in wording, because it is literally just the planets and all of that. But the imagery may be intimidating for some, so I would say mid-dark. Boom. There's that. Next, we have, and these are all a little similar to each other. They just get darker, so it's a little dusty. I had to pull this from off the shelf. But this is the Angel of Requiem, Angelarium, Oracle of emanations. Oracle of emanations. So this is what this deck looks like. This is dark enough just off of imagery alone, but these are, I believe, angels or fallen these are angels and fallen angels, or other angels. Either way, it's angels. So angel of mystery is Raziel. Angel of heralds, Gabriel. And so these kind of mimic or sort of have imagery of angels of how they were actually seen biblically. Jesus. So you're not going to see that representation of, you know, European people with wings. It's going to be kind of more like a little closer to how they described it, as how they actually looked. Angel of night, just let's see, angel of song. This one is super cool, being left eye knowledge. So the imagery is kind of dark. So if you're not ready for that, like Azrael, angel of death. So if you're not ready to look at that kind of imagery, and I always put anything that has death in it, I rank it as a dark deck, because I personally do not like to see that card represented in my decks, although I don't read on them in a sense of people dying or passing or crossing over. To me, I have very bad anxiety, so if I'm having one of those moments or days where my anxiety is high, it does not help me to see that come up, especially because I be suffering. I have, I'm neurodivergent, and I have intrusive thoughts. I have bad anxiety. So certain things, like when they come up, it's not easy to see. And that's why I like to let you guys know if I would consider something dark, or maybe not so great to start off with, or not so great for people who have anxiety issues. So this is one of those decks, especially if the thoughts of angels or any of that kind of intimidate you a bit. This is not really the deck for you. It touches on things from lighter stuff to darker things. And look, this card is so pretty. Look at this Angel of Rain. Isn't that pretty? But I love the imagery. I love the artwork. It's just great. It's just great. But it's pretty dark. It's pretty dark, which is why you don't see me necessarily use this deck for much of anything. Honestly, I don't really know what I would use it for. As Angel of Rain, what am I going to use that for? I can incorporate it into a reading. I'm sure I can, but for the most part, I didn't really find too much of a use. This is the back of it. It's very pretty. It's in pretty decent condition. It's pretty good condition. Like, as you can see, I obviously did not have any overuse for this deck. So it is still, in great condition. Although the box is a little dusty. So another one, I think this, by the way, these are low Scarabeo decks. Is this illustrated by the same person? Let me see. It doesn't say. Anyway. This deck is quite similar to the one that I just showed. And this is the Mausolea Oracle of Souls. Okay. And it's quite similar. This is the back. And this one is like the Keeper of Whispers, the Mad Prophet. So they'll say a phrase at the top, the title of the card and the imagery, or the creature in the imagery, and then at the bottom is keywords. I need to use this one more. It says curiosity, madness, forbidden knowledge. Okay, this is already dark. Imagery alone, but just in general, it's a pretty dark deck. This is Hades, Lord of Riches. So you can see him there. Equanimity, wisdom, and inevitability. Let's see. Martyr, matron of the blind, honesty, shame, and restitution. It's honestly the deck is honestly extremely cool in my personal opinion. So I hope you guys will be able to see all these decks, all these cards and the imagery fine. This is what it looks like. So I'm just gonna quickly put these out. I need to use this more. It's a pretty cool deck. Y'all gonna be seeing it more. Like I said, this is definitely a dark deck, and that's just based off of imagery. But the words itself are pretty intense, like rejection, opportunity, consequences. Let's see. I just feel like, you know, this is pretty intense. Strategy, failure, trauma. So yeah, pick this up if you are sure of what you want to get into. Again, this is not something you necessarily need the book for. More of this is one that you can just pop right out the case and get to work using it, and the book can help you along your way. So ease of use, absolutely. Intensity, oof, pretty high. And here is my last deck that's kind of like, again, in the realms of this. And y'all seen this one a lot. This is the Dark Mirror Oracle. Okay. The Dark Mirror Oracle. And here are the cards. The Dark Mirror Oracle already has it in its title. It is dark. It's dark. Period. It's dark. Hiding your true self. Imagery is dark. So the art is not for the faint of heart. Parasite. The words can be a little intense. Downcast pride. Naked before the stars. Addiction. Blind to pain. Look at that imagery. I'm not going to zoom it up too close because I don't know. But the imagery is pretty intense. What is this? I won't cry for you. Fragmentation. It has very, I'm not going to read them all. But it's really not for, Triumph of Lies, Anger and Chains. It just touches on some pretty dark stuff. Calling in the Storm. This is the imagery you can see. It touches on some pretty dark stuff. It is not a diverse deck. So it's, you know, it's not, I mean, you'll have maybe one or two cards here. I'm not sure what, you know, she may represent, but no, it's not a diverse deck. There's no POCs in here. So there's that. But it is definitely a deck that I favor. I don't use it often, but I do like it. Okay. Now that I'm done with that, I'm going to get into my favorite. Wait, I have one more. This actually looks like a tarot deck, but it is an oracle. It's an oracle. This is called the Dream Inspirational Cards. This deck is pretty cool. Comes with it's a little white book. Like I said, I don't like reading these, but I absolutely need it for this. So, it's just a very interesting deck. I would say light to mid dark, maybe. Knots. It has it in 4 different languages, or 2 to 4 maybe. But it just has imageries on it, art, and keywords, and you can kind of really interpret it however you please. Fire, temple, benefactor. The imagery could be dark because it is dreams. Everything is sort of warped. So the imagery may not be particularly pleasant to some people. Let me see. I guess this is some form of diversity. I don't know. I don't know what they was going for there, but you know. But like, it could be intimidating for some. Like, it's weird. But this is the Dream Inspirational Tarot. I'm sorry, Oracle. I almost forgot about it because it looked like a tarot deck, but it's not. But that's pretty much what that is. And now I'm going to get into the ending of this deck tour. I'm pretty sure I'm going to end it off with my these last few oracles. I'm pretty sure I've completed about 95% of my oracles that I own, 95 to 98%. I'm at least when I'm finished with these last maybe 6. That'll be pretty much almost all of them. Oh my god, now I have more. Anyway, this deck, I'm gonna say dark off the, it may look bright. The Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle, right? And this is Lucy Cavendish. She's one of my favorites, favorite oracle makers. I love her oracles. I pretty much have almost all of them. I have all of my favorite ones from her. So, and yeah, it's called the Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle. This is the back. And this, it says shimmer. It has a title word here and then keywords at the bottom. So this one says shimmer, glamour, confidence, allure, and charisma. This one says stardust, premonition, galactic communications, beginning and endings. This one says the Merlin, guidance, mentorship, teaching of old ways. Catch me. This one says catch me, trust, surrender, leap of faith, into the unknown. Okay. Golden gift, magical, help is on its way. Once was innocent, knowledge means change. Mother and daughter, mothering, teaching, sharing, knowledge, nurturing self. Cry for nature. The Gift, Midnight Prince, The Secret Path, Follow Me, Crystal Magic, Light the Darkness, yeah, so it looks light, but Stolen in Her Sleep, Unaware, Unconscious, Unawakened creeped me out. So I thought she was just laying on dirt. Like at first I was like, oh, she's just laying in leaves or dirt or grass, and then you zoom in and like those are people, and like I can see how the card could be like, you know, come off as very, and then the key word for this one is Stolen in Her Sleep, Unaware, Unconscious, and Unawakened. So that alone had me like, maybe I'm gonna put it in the dark. I'm gonna put it in the I'm gonna put it in dark. Sorry about that. So yeah, but I think that it's, for the most part, it can be light, but that card, and honestly a lot of the interpretations to some of these cards, they have, some of these have a darker undertone that can, it's like sort of an eerie kind of feel to them. So I want to still place this in more of a darker, yeah, like I just want to place it in more of a darker, darker category. Same, like mild maybe. But yeah, that's what this deck looks like. I do need to use it more. I will try to use this more, and bring this deck out a lot more during my readings. In fact, I'm going to start keeping it on my table so that I can reach for it more often. Okay, so if I had remembered that the Fairy Oracle was a part of the Lucy Cavendish collection, I would have saved it till after this one, but I'm going to dip right out of my Lucy Cavendish Oracle decks to touch on this one right quick. I'll maybe make sure my phone volume is down because yeah, okay. So this is called the Sisoli Oracle. This you need a book for. Just saying that right off the bat. You need a book for. There are no keywords on this oracle. But the book is really nice. I've read through it. I don't remember it. I've read this book, but I don't remember what it says. It does come in different languages. I think English, Spanish, French, and Italian, I believe. So this is categorized as dark for me because of the imagery. This has a glossy finish. You may not be able to see it because, there we go. This has a glossy finish. It's very smooth. It seems light, but it could also be disturbing to some. So, you know, I'll put it in the mid to, I'm going to say dark. And I also say dark because for someone who, if you're gonna see all of my last decks that I'm about to show you kind of fit a specific category. I actually absolutely hate dolls. So it's very interesting that I have and favor decks that have art that imitates dolls. This deck has no diversity, I don't believe. The dolls are all pale white. They're porcelain dolls. So they're all pale white. But I love this deck. It's absolutely amazing to use alongside of tarot readings, especially if you already know what it is. This is one of those cards as to why I kind of do not put it in light. As you can see, this is kind of disturbing. I'm not sure, and I don't remember what that was supposed to be. But, you know, some people can find it very off-putting. It's, again, something that seemed like it was light and slowly became very, very dark or very disturbing. So I would not, this is also another reason why I don't use this often anymore. Because once I started to take notice to the, to really take notice to the imagery, I kind of thought it was a little uncomfortable. So I definitely would consider this a deck for like shadow work, like, you know, unlocking and working, or maybe loosening up repressed memories. But I think the deck could be kind of traumatic for some. It's interesting, to say the least. But yeah, as you can see, it's in good condition. I used it a few times in maybe earlier in the year when I first got it. I'm not sure what year, maybe last year, early last year, but it's in great condition. As you can see, I did not use it too much afterwards. Again, the imagery, and which is why I put it in a dark category, the imagery can really be very off-putting, and somewhat disturbing. Yeah, somewhat disturbing to some, so there's that. So, you know, approach with caution, get it at your own discretion. And now I'm going to go right back into my Lucy Cavendish decks. We just finished up with this one, which is also a Lucy Cavendish deck. And I'm going to just go ahead and start with the top. I have the Shapeshifter Oracle, or Oracle of the Shapeshifter. You guys see me use all of her decks on this channel quite often because they are my all-time favorite oracles. These oracle decks, again, these are oracle decks that you can pull out of the box and go straight to using them. They have the keywords at the top, or the name of the card, and then a phrase, sentence, or keyword at the bottom. So this one says Wolf Moon, and then it says I will watch over you. The next one says you are unlike anyone else. And then the sentence at the bottom is your contradictions and complexities are interesting. This one says Dragonling Garden, a new world is born. Let me make sure my music doesn't stop. Okay. This deck is a little more diverse than the others, as you can see. Because I believe people were telling them before, the artists before, that they needed to put be more inclusive. So, you know, you'll probably see a few sprinkles of you know, different types of people. They even have some form of albinoism that is represented in this deck. Okay. So this is what this deck looks like. I categorize all of these decks kind of as maybe mid-dark. None of them, I don't categorize any of them as light, just as mid-dark. Because again, they can seem and have like these cute little doll things. I guess for some people they're cute dolls. I don't really like dolls, so I don't really see them as cute. But they may have the imagery that may seem like they're very cute, but they're also these disturbing undertones, or these very darker undertones to each picture, or just to the deck itself. So I would not categorize any of Lucy and Jasmine's deck to be light. They're all medium dark. Okay. I will have to read, oh yes, the back of these. So this one is more of a little bit, it has a lot of animals that that are involved in, ooh, I'm so sorry, I mixed some decks in here. These are not a part of this. I'm so sorry. I showed you the wrong back. This is the back for this deck. And did I read out the wrong ones too? No, I didn't read these. Yeah, this is the back for this deck. And that's what the front of it looks like. I usually use several of these oracles together at the same time, which is why sometimes they'll get mixed into each other's deck. Well, since I have this one out, I'm going to go ahead and start on that now then. Okay, if I don't drop everything on the floor. Okay. Hopefully I can finish this before some food gets here. I have not eaten a thing since this morning. I've been recording for hours. Hours. Okay. So this deck is another Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith deck. Again, I can't stress to you how much I love their decks. This is the back to the deck, which is the one that I pulled. I pulled some cards out of the other one because they got mixed up, but this is the back of this deck. And these also come with a title to, let me shuffle them a bit. These come with a title and then a sentence or phrase that sits at the bottom. So this one is Eclipse Mermaid, a powerful energy shift. Again, all of their decks I will categorize as dark, medium dark. Let's see. Amara the Menehune, I don't know. It says Aloha Healing. Okay, so Hawaiian representation, I guess. Yeah. Three Fates, What Comes Around. So imagery in itself could be seen as a little intimidating, not overly so, but like I said, it kind of draws you in with a cute doll, what may seem to some as cute doll appearance. Parents may think, or children may think, oh, it's going to be a really cute deck, but it also has very dark imagery. So I just wouldn't underestimate it. But yeah, this is what this deck looks like. I'm going to go ahead and lay out pretty much all of the cards so you can get a good look. This one's Sea Storm, Calm in the Chaos. Violet Angel, Breaking Dawn. Again, darker imagery, so if you're not, there's slight nudity in this one as well. Death and the Maiden, Invasion, Boundaries Violated, and Dominance. So like I said, I would never categorize any of their decks as light, because they all, no matter how they may look, how bright they may look, they touch on some pretty heavy things. They touch on some pretty heavy subjects, and especially if you use them together, they can touch on some pretty heavy subjects. So you see some Asian representation. There are no black people in this deck, though. So for all of my black cubs, you probably won't see any black people in this deck. Like there were in the other one. I think there's maybe one or two in the last deck. yeah. That is the oracles of shadows and light. Okay. This one, I think you guys see me use this one a lot. And this is the Fairy Tale Oracle. I use this one a lot on this channel. Again, none of her decks that I have, that I own, really need a book. All of these you can pretty much, for the most part, just take out and use. But the decks do offer some nice clarification for some of these cards. Like Bluebird is taboo. Let me shuffle these a bit. Bluebird is taboo. Then you have the Poisoned Apple that represents jealousy. You have the Rose Elf, Revelations. These cards are also very large, as you can see. Like this is what it looks like in my hand. I can wrap my hand around it, but it's pretty large. It's pretty large. Like, I don't know. There's a bottle of lotion compared to it. Like, they're pretty large. So if you have really small hands, this may not be easy to handle. Let's see. So Water and Salt, the Wood Maiden, like they have very interesting names, but they all come with keywords, so they're easy to understand. These again are very great decks to go to for clarification on tarot readings. They are good for helping yourself to understand your emotions, or get insight on emotions of people around you. So for those of you who may struggle with you know, just struggle with some things, you can use this deck. It's another deck that I find that's good for shadow work. So you want to work on yourself and unlock those deep parts of you that you've locked away in your subconscious, or like, you know, finally resurface some things that you just need to get off your chest. This is something that can help you kind of unlock those memories. And you know, it'll bring up some stuff. Any of their decks, any of Lucy and Jasmine's decks can bring out, and including the Cecilia thing, can bring out some stuff. So if you're not ready to access that part of yourself that's been traumatized or has dealt with some things, you may not want to use these decks because they can access that part. And if you're not ready to deal with that, that can be more damaging than it can be helpful. Again, some of my favorite decks, I keep it in great condition. You know, they're hard to damage, really. I mean, there is a little bit of fraying of the cards, like maybe a little bit on the side, you know, but it's pretty much in great condition. All right. So we're almost done. We're almost done. Another one of my all-time favorite Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith decks is the Les Vampire Oracle deck. I really hope she drops more of these decks because I would love to get more. Again, this is easy to use. This deck is very easy to use. Everything is right there where you need it on the card, plus the interpretation of, plus the illustration or the pictures are very readable on their own. Like I said, I categorize all of her decks as mid to dark. So, you know, mid-dark to just straight dark, because, you know, you have things like that. But let's go through some of the cards. Nobility, it says honor, high standards, idealistic. And then it says compassion, empathy, sympathy, kindness. But, you know, This one has a form of nudity, so I'm not going to zoom into it, but it's envy, punishment, and changing course. Witness. Put that over there just in case. But these are just the cards and what they look like. These are my favorite style of decks. I like decks that are pretty much mid-dark, medium dark. So those are my favorites. I love decks that kind of are in this area of imagery. Well, not imagery. Here's someone who is brown. I wouldn't say black, but there is, again, you know, you'll maybe see a sprinkle. Here's a black girl. So it's not big on representation. You'll probably at best find one black girl in each one of the decks. So that is a little unfortunate, but yeah, that's what it looks like. And we're going to go on to my last oracle deck. I'm not doing any more oracles. I'm so worn out. I don't have any more that I see anyway. I think I've gathered pretty much all of them. Like I said, at best, this is maybe 95 to 98% of all my oracles. I'm sure I can find one or two somewhere that I may have forgotten about. But this is the last. And I think this one is, this one and the fairy tale one. And yeah, these three are probably my most used oracle decks on this channel. My most used Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith decks. So the last one, no, don't fall. Okay. The last one is the Alice in Wonderland Oracle. I love Alice in Wonderland themed things, stories, items. I love Alice in Wonderland just as much as I love, and this is just random info dumping, I guess. I also love Ursula, and I also love Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. Those are my favorite things. But anyway, just as the others, you can use this one straight out of the box. You do not need to go through the book if you don't want to, if you're just not big on reading. If you're not big on reading, or if you're like me who gets so many at one time that you just are too impatient to sit and try to read every book for every deck you own when you own as many as I do. So we have Painting the Roses Red, and then it says Covering Up Errors. Another deck that will read you for filth. Keeping Up Immense Effort and Advance. There's this one. I Wonder What Will Happen Next. Ready to Adventure. Change. Pause Before Action. But this is what the cards look like. This is actually one that is a little more lighter than anything. This is probably the lightest of the decks, but I still consider it to be mid dark, especially because of this crazy looking Cheshire cat that always lets you know that things are not as bright as it seems. The cat is almost eerily haunting, it's just an interesting deck. These are all the imageries. I'm gonna lay them all down, especially since this is the last one, so you guys can pause, slow down if you want to, you know, zoom in or however. Again, this deck isn't necessarily diverse. It's just, you know, Alice and some other people, but there's no diversity in this deck. I wonder where this art style came from. This, I know it's random, but this art always throws me off because it's like almost the only one that looks like this out of this deck. The closest you can get to that art is this, so I'm not sure why this is in here, but it is what it is. But that is the last of my oracle decks. for this year of 2021. By December, I will probably have more. And this has not touched on my tarot decks at all. So the tarot decks will come maybe later on in the month. I will start on that as well. But thank you all for watching. Please go ahead and leave in the comment section which one your favorites were. I forgot to say, for these, all of the Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith decks can be found on Amazon. These are all of these are on Amazon. All of these are on Amazon. I don't know what the price range is. I think it's like maybe 20 to 26. I don't know. I'm going to check real quick. Let me see. Not a commercial plan. Anyway, yeah, just go ahead and look for them on Amazon. They're about $22 each. So, yeah, that's probably like the price range for that. If you're interested, go check it out. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what's your favorite ones. Please like, comment, subscribe, interact with this video. I put a lot of time and effort in it, and I would really, really appreciate it. I love you all so much, and I hope to see you next time again in the Lion's Den. Bye! Greetings, Cubs. Just another addition to the Oracle deck review, or whichever. I found some more decks that I forgot to introduce, so I'm going to go ahead and add these in. And so let me just make this really quick. This one is my Sacred Spirit reading cards. I got these, and as you could tell earlier in the video, or at least maybe, I don't know if I separate this in how many parts, but part one, I said that I don't really like decks that come in these little, you know, flappy thing. They usually just don't really resonate with me that much. So this is why you don't really see this one on here. Maybe I will try to use it more, but this is what the cards look like. This is number 13. It says emotional challenges, resolve the issue. I like a card like this. I really do like the words and everything, which is why I initially got it. But yeah, this is astral travel, caution needed. Let's see, hidden realms, create conscious awareness. Love and light, act with care, lead the way, lead your own path, energy signature, the past is in the present. But yeah, this is what the cards look like. Of course, I found this on Amazon. So this is, they're kind of very, the art is very interesting. That's how that looks. But yeah, I'm just going to make this real quick. But a lot of these cards ended up being, for me, a little too pretentious, I guess. And so then I kind of like, I just didn't really vibe with it. But I will try to use it more, and maybe, you know, it'll grow on me. But this is what that looks like. Alright, so I'm going to move on. The next deck, this is the last flap one. This is Mystic Healing Reading Cards. This one actually just grew on me yesterday because I started using this for readings from my sister because she asked me for them. So this is what they look like. This one says awaken your vulnerability. This one says relinquish control. This one says break addictions. This one, temper your criticism. Let's see, that one's not that interesting, but this is, I like the way this card has to be turned to its side to read. I wish there was a little more of them that maybe, you know, a few more that look like that. I think that's pretty cool. Release anxiety, that's not easy to do. But yeah, these are what these cards look like. They do have cards that let you know it's a yes, right? And then they also have it's a no. So you do have in this deck yes and no cards, which I really am fond of in decks as well, especially for people who may need a clear-cut answer. The art is very interesting. I love art like this as well. Not all the time, but occasionally I really do like to see decks that have interesting art like this. This deck and the last one, I would say they are easy beginner decks. Well, I won't say the Sacred Spirit is necessarily easy because it has a lot of kind of terms that if you're not too deep off into spirituality in the different forms, you're going to be really confused. So I would say the Sacred Spirit that I just showed you is maybe like, I don't know, a little more difficult to use, but this is a good first timer deck if you want to use it. They do have a card that mentions death in it though. I don't know where it is, so I don't know. I would probably put this into medium dark to dark because of the mention of it. I don't remember where it is. Also, there is slight nudity involved in this deck. I mean, it's nothing big if you're, you know, I really want to say if you're an adult, it's really nothing big. It looks like anatomy. So, I'm not going to zoom it in because I don't want YouTube to act funny. So, but yeah, that's what this deck looks like. I was trying to find the one that mentions death. Yeah, here it is. Right? No. Anyway, I think it's like expand your thoughts or ideas on what it is, like what death is. I think that's what it says, but I can't remember. But you can find this on Amazon. It's a good sort of beginner's deck. You can use it without having to really look up anything. You can use it without needing to read the book, meaning so you can pull it right out the box and use it. I've read the book for the most part or skimmed through it. You know, so it's really your choice on whether you want to read it or not. Okay. And now we're on to the last few decks. And now officially, I will not be, even if I find more oracles, I don't think I'm going to add any more because that is just stressful for me. Because I have way too many. Okay, let me go back to Amazon because I immediately forgot the name of this deck. So I'm going to use this one. Often on my channel, you'll see me use both of these kind of hand in hand. I usually use them I will sometimes use them together or separate. This one is the Osho Zen Oracle. I don't know where I have the box at. Yeah, I don't know where I put the box at, but you guys should be very familiar with this deck. This is what the cards look like. Success, morality, ordinariness, change, existence, past life, sharing, the source, slowing down. It's just keywords. They're also very simple cards to use. You can just pull them out and get right to them. The book is also very interesting if you want to read on these cards. Let's see. I'm trying to find the name of the other one because I had it up and then I immediately forgot it. But my computer is not working. I don't know. Amazon's crashing or something. But this is what the Osho Zen looks like. Again, you can find this on Amazon. You can find it there. That's where you're going to see it. And on Amazon, guys, I'm looking at it now. On Amazon, they got it for like $14. This deck has like, I don't even know, like I don't even know, 79 cards in it. Okay. Most oracles will not have that much in it. But this has 79 cards in it. That's a lot of cards. And you're getting it for $14. A lot of my other oracles will be like 21, you know, so on and so forth. So this is absolutely one to go get. You have a lot to work with. You have a lot to work with on jump. It's just a great deck. And let me just pull out all of the cards so you can see. Now this deck, I will say, is dark. It has some pretty disturbing imagery, like, you know, unpleasant imagery. It is pretty dark. Like, some of the images may not, you know, be that great for people. It may not be very pleasant. So it's really not for people who can't take some darker images. Alrighty. So I'm going to put this bad boy up. I cannot remember the name of this deck, but usually you can find it over with the Osho Zen deck. If I find the name of it, I'll try to put it in the comment section or edit it over the video. But this is what it looks like. No, I think I have the box somewhere. I think. I do. The deck of this, I have the book. Okay, so this is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle Guidebook. I mean, a guide. Oracle deck. And this is the book for it. So it is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle. And again, it's like soulmate, service, guilt, vanity, prayers, mysticism, workaholic, joy, contemplation, recovery, enlightenment, confusion, facade, all of these, grief, release, you know, victim. It's so many words, rejection, that you could use. So it's very good, at least for me. And you know, there's some decks that I like when they do this and some decks that I don't. This is a deck that I actually really do like the way it's done, because I also feel like the imagery gives a lot more to the story than most other decks for me, or at least the imagery translates to me in multiple ways. I can get a lot from the imagery that is shown that may align or even not align with the pictures. But just in itself, they're so expressive that I can use this deck and just see the pictures itself and understand or get a message. So I really do like the Chakra Wisdom Oracle. It works for me. Again, you can get this on Amazon. I'm not sure how much it costs, but you can get it off of Amazon. And lastly, let me put this back in his bag. And lastly, the most important deck of all that I forgot to bring out before. I believe this deck was called the Messages from the Universe deck. I used to use this a lot. This deck, you're not going to find this deck anywhere. This deck is very expensive. Like, I mean, $200 expensive. You're not going to find it online, because I think it's completely, it's not only no longer being made, but it's sold out. It's sold out. It's not being made anymore. All it is a whole bunch of words. So, dissociated, female, life, synergy, power, pleasure, resolution, appropriate time, seeing, family, brilliance. It's just a whole bunch of keywords: rejuvenation, listening, dullness, pain, energy, earth, support, undermine, money, you know, nonverbal communication, grief, source. It's just a bunch of basically keywords, and it's very vast and expansive. I'm not sure why they don't make them anymore. I didn't see what the issue was, but it is what it is. I got one of the last ones in existence. So, if you can find it, shout out to y'all who can find and afford it. But this is it. This is it. All right, and so we're done with my Oracle deck tour. I'm gonna hope that my tarot deck tour will be quicker than this. All right, bye.